So let's look at the next question. A force of 5 Newton gives a mass m1 and acceleration of 10 meter per second square. So there's a mass m1 and a force is applied to that mass, and because of this force the acceleration in this body is 10 meter per second square. Okay, acceleration is 10 meter per second square. You can say A1. And a mass m2 and acceleration of 20 meter per second square. That means another mass m2 is accelerated by the same force to acceleration is 20 meter per second square, A2. Okay, so there are two bodies. Obviously, if the same force is able to give different accelerations to the two bodies, that means their masses are different. Okay, otherwise if you take same mass bodies, like if you take two same balls and you apply the same force, their acceleration will be same. This is the difference of like for example, you are pushing a car and you are pushing a bicycle. So the car is heavier, so your force will give less acceleration to the car, and since the bicycle is lighter, so your force will give more acceleration to the bike. The bike will go far away, or its velocity will increase more as compared to the increase in velocity of the car. I hope you got the question. So you have to find what acceleration would it give if both masses were tied together. Okay, that means if you tie m1 and m2 together, then what would be the acceleration for the same force? Okay, in all the three cases forces are same. So we can write F is equals to m1 a1 for the first case. So m1 is equals to no, the force is given. Okay, so force is given as 5 Newton. 5 is equals to m1 into a1 is 10 meter per second square. So from here we can find m1 is equals to 5 by 10, that is equals to 1 by 2 kg. Okay. Similarly, F is equals to m2a2. Same force gives different acceleration because the mass will be different. So 5 is equals to m2 into acceleration 2 is 20. So from here we can find m2 is equals to 5 by 20, that is 1 by 4 kg. Okay. Now we have the two masses, m1 is 1 by 2 kg and m2 is 1 by 4 kg. See what I told you? Since this is a heavier mass, which is more, obviously 1 by 2 half kg is more as compared to 1 by 4 kg. So the same force is applied, but since this is a lighter body, acceleration produced with the same force is more. Whereas acceleration produced in this body, which is heavier, by the same force is less. Okay. So what if these two masses were tied together? We know force is equals to total mass into acceleration. If both the bodies are tied together, then mass will be m1 plus m2 into acceleration. Okay. So now what will be the acceleration? Okay, what acceleration would it give? So force is same 5 Newton, m1 is 1 by 2, m2 is 1 by 4, and acceleration you have to find. Okay, we are just substituting the values, nothing else. So 5 is equals to, here you have to take the LCM. LCM is 4, 2, 2s are 4, 4, 1s are 4. Okay, and 1 into 1 into acceleration. So 5 is equals to 2 plus 1, 3 by 4 into A. So A will be equals to, taking 4 up, 5 into 4, this 3 will come down, divided by 3. So that is 5 4s are 20 by 3. So here you can leave the answer like this, or you can solve also. Acceleration is 20 by 3, dividing 20 by 3 is not a big deal. So 3 6 are 18 point again 6. again 2 will come. So 0.66 meter per second square will be the acceleration. So see, in the first case acceleration was 10, in the second case acceleration was 20. Now if you tie the two masses together, m1 and m2, that gives the total mass which is higher. So the acceleration produced is the least in all the three cases, right? So acceleration has reduced when you increase the mass. So this question gives you a pretty clear idea as to what the Newton's second law of motion says. Force is directly proportional to mass and to acceleration. If mass is more, force applied will be more. If acceleration is more, force applied will be more. Or here we can see force is same. So the acceleration varies with mass, right? More mass, less acceleration. Okay? Let's look at the last question. Next question says, a motor car is moving with a velocity of 108 km per hour. So there is a car which is moving with the velocity of, it is moving, okay, with a velocity. What is the velocity of the car? 108 km per hour, okay, and it takes 4 seconds to stop after the brakes are applied. So the car is already moving with some velocity, brakes are applied, then what will happen to the car? Obviously when you apply the brakes, its velocity will reduce, speed will reduce, and it will come to a stop, okay, but that doesn't take place immediately. I have given you this example also when we were discussing this Newton's second law, that whenever a body is moving with certain speed and if you want to stop it, suddenly you can't stop. It will take some time to stop. So gradually the speed will decrease. So there will be change in the velocity or acceleration will be there. Now acceleration we know are of two types. When velocity increases, then it is known as positive acceleration, and when the velocity decreases, it is known as negative acceleration or retardation. So here in this case, the initial velocity was 108 km per hour and the brakes are applied, so the car will stop after 4 seconds. So the final velocity is 0. Initial velocity was something, final velocity is 0, that means it has reduced. So obviously we know that this is a case of negative acceleration or retardation. So what is given here? We know initial velocity u is 108 km per hour, okay, and it takes 4 seconds to stop. So time is 4 seconds. After the brakes are applied, calculate the force exerted on the brakes. So what you have to find? You have to calculate the force exerted on the brakes of the car if its mass along with the passenger is 1000 kg. So there is a passenger sitting, okay. So along with the passenger, the mass of the car is 1000 kg. So we don't need to worry about their masses. It's altogether 1000 kg. So U is given, T is given, M is given. Anything else is given? Is anything else also given? See, for numericals, for word problems, you have to read each and every word very carefully because many things are hidden in the question only. So you have to learn to interpret, to comprehend the question, right? So a motor car is moving with a velocity of 108 km per hour and it takes 4 seconds to stop after the brakes are applied. So what happens to the car after the brakes are applied? It stops. So what is the final velocity? Right. The final velocity V is 0. This is not mentioned in the question, but it is applied. And this is what you have to understand. Okay. Or if it was, it would have been said that a car was at rest and after the force is applied, its velocity increases to this much. So a car was initially at rest, so it is applied that its initial velocity is 0, right? So here we have given all these things. We have to find force. Again using force is equals to mass into V minus U by T. This formula, mass into acceleration. If you want to practice, you can always write force is equals to mass into acceleration first, and for acceleration V minus U by T. Okay. So then we have to substitute. We have to find force is equals to mass. What I've told you, before substituting, always check whether all the quantities are given in SI units or not. So U is given in kilometers per hour, which is not an SI unit. What is the SI unit of speed or velocity? Right, it is meter per second. So you have to convert this 108 kilometer per hour into meter per second. And I gave you a formula in the last chapter. If you have velocity in kilometers per hour, how to convert it into meter per second? 108 multiplied by 5 by 18. You have to multiply it with 5 by 18. Okay. So multiplying this value in kilometer per hour with 5 by 18 will give you the value in meter per second. Okay. So 108, 6 are 108, 6 5s are 30. Okay. So 30 meter per second is the initial velocity U. Initially it was in kilometer per hour, now it is in meter per second. Let's check other things. Time is in seconds, that's okay. Mass is in kg, that's also okay. Velocity, final velocity is 0. So now you can substitute. M is 1000, final velocity is 0 minus U is 30, initial velocity is 30. Time taken is 4 seconds. Okay. So now you can find the force. 4 250s are 1000. Right. So force will be equals to 250 into minus 30. So 253s are 750. So minus 7500 Newton. What does this minus sign represent, children? Minus sign shows that, see, force is directly proportional to change in velocity, or force is directly proportional to acceleration. This minus sign shows that force is opposite in direction to the applied to the velocity. Okay. So velocity was in this direction. The velocity was in this direction and the force applied is in the opposite direction. Since velocity and force are vector quantities, so their directions matter. That is why we are getting this negative sign. Okay. This minus 7500 doesn't mean this is less than 0. It is just showing you the opposites in direction of the two quantities. So because force is applied in the opposite direction, it is retardation. So the velocity goes on decreasing and it stops. Right? If the force would have been in the same direction of the velocity, then the velocity would have increased. Here the force is in the opposite direction to the velocity, that is why the velocity decreases. Is that clear, girls? So note this down by pausing the video, and let's go to the next question. So the last question says the velocity time graph of a ball of mass 20 gram moving along a straight line on a long table is given in figure. So there's a table and a ball is moving on a table. Okay. Obviously if a ball is moving, there must be a force. Okay, because of which the ball is moving. Now it is moving along a straight line. So here the graph is given. How much force does the table exert on the ball to bring it to rest? So here it is said that the ball is moving and after some time it comes to rest. Okay, it comes to rest. Why? Because of the force applied by the table. Now you will say, where is the force applied by the table? This is the frictional force applied by the table. Okay, the frictional force acts between two surfaces, the surfaces of the bodies which are sliding against each other. So this is the surface of the table and the ball is sliding on the table. So that's why the lower surface of the ball and the upper surface of the table which come in contact, they slide against each other, and this is where frictional force appears. Okay. So the force of friction is applied in the opposite direction and the force on the ball is in this direction. See, ball's force is in this direction and frictional force is in this direction. So when two forces are applied in the opposite direction, obviously the net force will reduce and after some time the ball will stop. So we have to find what is the force exerted by the table on the ball to bring it to rest. Okay. So we know force is equals to mass into acceleration, that is mass into V minus U by T. Now this question is a graphical question. So here you've been given the final velocity, initial velocity and time through the graph. So you have to read the graph and you have to find the acceleration. Okay. So here we can see that mass is 20 gram. Mass is given as 20 gram. Okay. So we have to find the acceleration. Remember girls, I gave you this formula to remember that if you have any graphical question and have to find the distance covered or acceleration, then what to use? See, this is a VT graph. I told you distance time graph, velocity time graph and acceleration time graph. These are the three types of graphs you studied. Here which type of graph we have? VT graph. So from a VT graph, if you want acceleration, you have to find slope of the graph. See, from V, if you have to find A. With the help of a VT graph, if you have to find the acceleration, you go down and you find the slope of the graph. Okay. So here we have to find the acceleration, so we find slope of the graph, or slope is nothing but this V minus U, final velocity minus initial velocity upon time, final time and initial time. So we can write this mass. See, before substituting mass, we have to see whether it is in SI units or not. So mass is given in 20 grams. Gram is not the SI unit of mass. What is the SI unit of mass? Kg. So we have to convert this 20 gram into kg. So that is 20 upon 1000. How many grams make a kg? 1000. So 20 divided by 1000, that will be 0.02 kg. Right? When you take these two zeros up. So 0.02 kg is the mass in SI units. So 0.02 into final velocity. See, when the time was 0, initial velocity was 20 because the ball was moving with some velocity. So initial velocity was 20 meter per second. So we have, you can read the graph like this. U is given as 20 meter per second, and when initial velocity was 20 meter per second, what was the time? You see time on the x-axis. Time was T1, you can say, was 0. Okay. For 20, corresponding time is 0. Then after some time, the final velocity goes on reducing and it becomes, what it becomes? 0. See, this graph is, the last point is over here. So take that point on the y-axis. What is the velocity? Because velocity is on the y-axis. So what is the velocity become now? 0. So final velocity is 0. And also it is said in the question that how much force this table exert to bring the ball to rest. That means the final velocity of the ball should be 0 only. And that is same what we are getting from the graph as well. When velocity becomes 0, what was the time? The final time was 10 seconds. When velocity is 0, time is 10 seconds. So T2 is 10 seconds. Right? So we can write this, we can find the slope V minus U. V is 0 minus U is 20 meter per second upon change in time was 10 minus 0. T2 minus T1. Okay, 10 minus 0. So that is 0.02 into minus 20 upon 10. So 10 2s are 20. So that is 0.02 into minus 2. That is 2 2s are 4. 0.04 with a negative sign. So force applied is minus 0.04 Newton. Again, if the force is negative, that means there is retardation. I told you that a force applied or the acceleration or velocity of the ball was in this direction. Now this force is applied in the negative direction. That is why you are getting this negative sign. velocity you can say was in this direction and frictional force is in the opposite direction. That is why you are getting force as negative. So when the table will apply this much of force on the ball, in 10 seconds it will be able to stop the ball, or the ball will come to rest in 10 seconds when 0.04 Newton frictional force acts on the ball in the opposite direction, right? So these were all the kinds of numericals which can be asked based on the Newton's second law of motion. I want all of you to do all these numericals in your copy and send the screenshot in the Google Classroom. Okay, thank you. Hello students, in the last class we did Newton's second law of motion and the derivation. I hope you followed the derivation and done it in your copies. So today we will do some numericals based on Newton's second law of motion. So we studied Newton's second law of motion. What is the formula for Newton's second law of motion? Force is equals to mass into acceleration. Or you can also write force is equals to dP by dt. Okay, force is directly proportional to rate of change of momentum. Rate of change of momentum can also be written as mass into change in momentum is final momentum minus initial momentum upon time. So force can be written as mv minus u by t. So either we use this formula or we use this formula, right, for Newton's second law of motion. So let us look at the question given. The question says a constant force acts on an object of mass 5 kg for a duration of 2 seconds. I want you all to pause the video, write down the question and then do the answer, do the solution with me. Okay, because this is the first question. So a constant force acts on an object of mass 5 kg. So what is given, always write what is given and what you have to find. Okay, this will give you a clear idea of which formula to use, right? So what is given? A mass of 5 kg is given for a duration of 2 seconds. So time is given 2 seconds. A force acts on a body of mass 5 kg. There is a 5 kg body and on this body a force is acting. We know if mass is there and a force acts on the body, what will happen to that body? That body will accelerate. Okay, there will be acceleration in the body. So acceleration is change in velocity. What is acceleration? Change in velocity. So we can write change in velocity is final velocity minus initial velocity in a particular time. That is acceleration. We studied this in the last chapter also, motion. The formula for acceleration, final velocity minus initial velocity upon time. So m, mass of the body, into this acceleration. This is brought about force. So this is nothing but Newton's second law, right? So time for which that force acts on this body is, time is 2 seconds. Okay, for 2 seconds the force is acting on the body. It increases the object's velocity from 3 meter per second to 7 meter per second. That means initial velocity u of the object was 3 meter per second. Okay, and when the body of mass 5 kg was moving with 3 meter per second, at that time the force is applied. For example, you can imagine a ball is already moving and a person kicks it. Okay, so when the person kicks that ball for 2 seconds, its velocity increases and it becomes 7 meter per second. So final velocity v is 7 meter per second. So here we've been given u initial velocity is 3 meter per second, v final velocity is 7 meter per second. This change in velocity is brought about in 2 seconds on the body of mass 5 kg. What we have to find? Find the magnitude of the applied force. So what we have to find? Force applied. So using the formula F is equals to mass into final velocity minus initial velocity upon time, mass into acceleration. Acceleration is v minus u by t. So before substituting the values, always check whether all the values given are in SI units. All the values should be in SI units. Okay. In every chapter, in all the numericals, you have to check this. If only in one case, that I'll tell you when we study gravitation, there we don't convert the values into SI units. Otherwise, everywhere we convert all the values into SI units. Why is that so? Because if one value will be in SI and one value will be in CGS, you cannot operate them together. So you have to convert all the values into one system of units. So we always prefer using the SI units, right? So see, mass is given in kg, 5 kg. What is the SI unit of mass? Kg. So mass is given in SI units. Time is given in seconds. Seconds is the SI unit for time. Velocities, both the velocities are given in meter per second. So again, meter per second is the SI unit of velocity too. So we have all the velocities in SI units. Now we can substitute these values without any problem. So substituting the values, m is 5, final velocity v is 7, minus initial velocity u is 3, time is 2. Okay, so we'll get, this is a pretty easy formula and easy calculation. So 5 into what is 7 minus 3? 4 divided by 2. So 2 2s are 4, 5 2s are 10. What is the SI unit of force? Newton. Never write any quantity without its units. Okay. If you write just F is equals to 10 without writing the unit, the SI unit, it can be considered as wrong. Okay. Because in physics, in maths, the units are very, very important. So the force applied on the body, which changes the velocity of the body from 3 meter per second to 7 meter per second, is 10 Newton. Okay. Then let us look at the second part. The second part says, now if the force was applied for 5 seconds, for example, you change the magnitude of force to 5 seconds, what would be the final velocity of the object? So all the other things remaining same. Now we just have time changed to 5 seconds, okay? And we have to find the final velocity. This is not given. So force is equals to mass into final velocity minus initial velocity upon time. Mass is same 5. Final velocity you have to find minus initial velocity will be same 3 upon time has changed to 5 seconds. What will be the final velocity? Force will be same as 10 Newton. The same force acts for 5 seconds now. So this is 5 and 5 will get cancelled. 10 is equals to v minus 3 or v is equals to 10 plus 3. This 3 will go the other side and it will become plus. So final velocity v will become 13 meter per second. So what have we learned from this numerical? We studied that force is directly proportional to rate of change of momentum. More the change in momentum, more the force, more the time for which this force, if the time is more, force applied will be less, or if the time is less, the force applied will be more. Okay, this is vice versa. Force is inversely proportional to time. So see here, initially this force was applied for 2 seconds. So change in momentum was 4, 3 minus 7, right? And now if the time for which the same force is applied is increased to 5 seconds, you are increasing the time. So the force will decrease. If force will decrease, then your change in momentum also should decrease, right? So here when 5 seconds, the time has been increased to 5 seconds, then the change in momentum is 13 minus 3 upon 5, which is lesser than 7 minus 3 upon 2, right? So this is nothing but Newton's second law. Let's look at the second numerical. So the next question says, which would require a greater force? Accelerating a 2 kg mass at 5 meter per second or a 4 kg mass at 2 meter per second. So we have to tell in which case the force will be more. So here what is given? Here which force will be more? Accelerating a 2 kg mass. So we can write M1 is 2 kg at 5 meter per second. So acceleration 1 is 5 meter per second. Or a 4 kg mass. So we can write M2 is equals to 4 kg and acceleration 2 is 2 meter per second. So in which case the force will be more? We know force is equals to mass into acceleration. So for the first case we can write F1 is equals to 2 into 5 M1 into A1, that is 10 Newton. Okay, F1 is 10 Newton and F2 is equals to M2 into A2. So 4 into 2, that is 8 Newton. So it is pretty clear which is greater. F1, force 1 is greater. You can see also from here, we know force is directly proportional to mass and directly proportional to acceleration. See here, mass is less but acceleration is more. So that is why the force in this case is more as compared to this. Now if you compare this, acceleration is less, mass is more, but still the acceleration, comparison of the acceleration is more in this case. That is why F1 is more. So we can write force 1 is greater than force 2. So in which case accelerating a 2 kg mass at 5 meter per second will require a greater force. Okay, that means you can understand that if you have to throw a ball to a larger distance or with a greater speed, more acceleration means more change in speed. More change in speed is required over here. Here acceleration is more. So more change in speed is required, so more force will be applied. Here acceleration is 2 meter per second. The change in velocity is less. That is why the force applied will be less. Okay. So this was a pretty simple one. Let's look at the next one.